We're starting on the Mishnah on Samach Aleph on the Bais, and it goes like this. The Mishnah says, Shiva Samanim Ma'avir Malakesem. You use 7, Samanim is probably herbs, or 7 agents that you use them on a stain to remove the stain, and then what's going to happen is that the woman, whether she's tummy or not, that's all this other prakim over here that's discussed. But we're talking about the actual cloth itself. There's a cloth that has blood of Nidda on it. That cloth is tummy. So you try to clean the cloth with these detergent, these agents that will remove the stain, and then that's enough. So we'll see. It goes like this. Reik tafel is a tasteless saliva. We're going to see what it means. Tafel means bland. Reik is a saliva, spit. Megrisen. This is a liquid that would come from beans. So our second one. Meraglaim is urine. Neter is natron. And I looked that up. We're going to see in the Gemara that there's 2 types, but what it said in the Wikipedia was it's a sodium carbonate decahydrate, which means that it's right. Decahydrate just means 10 water molecules, I think. And Ubairis, we'll see what virus is. That's going to be a discussion in the Gemara. Okay, Kamanya is a type of Kimalian or Simalian clay, and it's actually used, according to Wikipedia, it's actually used as detergent. The ashleg, they translate as potash. Okay, so those are the 7. Now it's bilu if they put this cloth in the mikvah, but also al gab of taharis, and they came in contact with pure grain or food, and then hevrel of shiva samanim. Then they put these agents on it, blayavar, and the stain did not go away. So harezet seva, it's considered as ink. In other words, it's not considered tamei. And ataris taharis, all the taharis that were used on it are tahar. Heard before. So 1 second, maybe we did something.
I found I
still can't hear.
Sometimes they have to stick their
press your face.
Is it? It should be. Can anyone hear? Find out if anyone can hear. I don't know what I'm doing here. Ask if anyone can hear, because from this side it looks like it's set up.
Could you please set the stage? Why is it more now talking about removing stains?
It's a little bit more significant than removing stains. It's actually discussing if the stain is considered a stain by using these agents. If it gets removed, then that's a proof that it was blood. If it doesn't get removed, then it's some sort of ink. As we know that the blood would be removed by these 7 agents. So it actually tells us that it was blood. We've had question. We questioned, what is this really? What's the source of this blood?
Everyone cleared.
Okay. So it's doing 2 things. It's verifying for us that it was blood, and it's also going to be pure. It's going to be considered pure, even if it's not totally removed. It's still in there, but because you've done enough, that's going to be it's going to be considered clean.
If you don't know what the source of this particular stain is.
Right. But we just said that if nothing gets removed from these agents, so we say harezet seva, it's considered ink. Taisvis and Hitbila Vasal Gav Taisvis et Seva, Taisvis says, "In la far shariza about et Seva." Don't say that it's actually ink. If you want to look at that, but he says it doesn't mean that it's really ink. It's like the third line down in the wide lines. In la far shariza about et Seva. When the Mishnah says that it's Seva, that it's ink, doesn't mean that it's ink. It means, look, we don't know what it is. We're going to say nothing got removed over here. So we'll attribute it. How are we saying that it's tar if there's blood here? We'll say, okay, look, we don't know if it's blood. We don't know if it's, we'll say that it's ink. Not that it is. But we'll say that it is. Because that's one of the doubts here. She didn't feel it coming out. Okay. Alvar, let's say it does get removed. Oishadeha, where it gets more dull or dim, the sharpness of the color because of these agents. Then hareza kesem. That's considered a stain in its blood. Ba'ataris tmeis, and then you have to put it in the mikveh, and all the produce that was there and came in contact with this is going to be tummy. Okay, now we're going to go through these agents. What is this tasteless saliva? Kol shlei tam klum. Anyone that it's any saliva that the person didn't taste anything from the day before. So you didn't put anything in its mouth. Then the following morning, this would be considered break tuffle. So no mouthwash or anything. It's just that spit on it and cleanse it. Megrisin. The second thing that we said, which was a liquid from split beans.
No, it's fine. If he hasn't eaten for a day, so typically he's got element of ketosis. He's burning his fat. So you have acetone on your breath. Acetone, we know, is a great remover. I mean, like we staining with that. So I won't be surprised if for spit from not eating for a day of like a little acetone. Just
I was
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, megrisin is this liquid from the beans. Le'isas grisin shel pol chalukas nefesh. This is chewing these split beans that were split naturally. Whenever I saw these split peas, I'm always wondering if they have someone over there that's splitting them. But no, they split naturally. So this is the beans, they split naturally, and then you chew it, and then that paste, I guess, or that liquid that comes out of that could be used to remove the stain. Meraglayim, shechmitzu, or shesrichu. They say that it was left, the urine was left, the ammonium, I guess, would also cleanse. You have to rub it 3 times. Each one of these agents. Let's say you didn't do it in the right order. You had an order here to this. Or you made one container and then sold it in farm stuff. With all the agents all in there.
Lishma,
right? Made lishma. So layasav alaiklum, that doesn't work. They have to be done each one individually. It would have to have a number on it. They'd sell it like in 7 packets. Okay. Now they get away with the spit one. Okay. The Gemara says like this.
That's delicious.
Tana, it was taught in a brisa. Neter Alexandrus lay neter and Tapris. This is the natron that comes from Alexandria, not from Antapris. Now, I actually looked it up. When I looked this up, and they said that it's the sodium carbonate decahydrate. They said that Pliny the Elder discusses 2 types of these agents that were used. One was what he said, but he said that there's 2 types of it. Okay, Bais. Bais, we didn't translate. In modern Hebrew, Bais is soap. Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, Ze Allah. This is Allah. Allah is a plant. According to one translation, it's called the ice plant, which actually is used in the ancient times. The leaves, they would crumble them and they would had something in it that would be used for cleansing. But Tanya, how could you say that virus is Allah? Do you think it's aloe?
Sounds like.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what
And
we
it's
used
white
before.
on the inside.
That's interesting because we'll see something about that. Now, aloe as in like the aloe, like aloe vera?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how can you say that Allah is the same as virus or translation? Because Vatani, we have a Braisa, virus va'il. It's listed as two separate items. It can't be the translation if it's the same one. So the Gemara says, Elamai virus. What is virus? Kavrisa. That's sulfur. Is that how they translate it? Now, sulfur is not a plant. And okay, we have a new something new here. So this is another agent that we're using, sulfur in Rashi. It calls it gafras. Right? For a mini, we have a contradiction. You can't say this. They added certain items to the laws of Shemitah that all the laws of Shemitah would apply to the following items. It says halavitzim. Any translation for that?
So thistles. S-O-W, thistles.
Yeah. So thistles. So thistles. All right. Huh? No, thistles, like the plant, like thistles,
So it's one
like
that
thorns and
sticks
thistles.
when you throw them on
Maybe.
So all this is for Tumen Tara.
Well, right here, we're just mentioning something that has to do with Shemitah, that the laws of Shemitah will apply to the following items. Valuunim, which is lana, which is wormwood. Habayris. Virus is in here. Vaha'ayal. And also either aloe or ice plant. The virus kabrisa, and if virus is sulfur, Yisle Shvius, the sulfur have the laws of Shemitah. That's something you get it out of the earth. You can get sulfur out. It's not a growth. But Tanana was taught in the Mishnah, this is real. If it has roots, that means it's something that's growing, then it will have Shemitah. If it doesn't have roots, Eily Shvius, then it doesn't have the laws of Shemitah. So it can't be sulfur.
It's a soap. It's a plant.
That's right.
Yellow plant.
Yeah, which is good because that's what we're looking. We're looking for plants. Now, so we
Yeah,
have
but
to
it's not.
retranslate virus. Elamai virus is Allah. Virus must be Allah. Vahatanya barusan nebraisa virus va'el. That it's two separate items. It says Trey Gavni Allah. There's two times. There's virus and there's Allah, but it's really the same. Probably the same family. Okay, Kamanya. This is this clay. Amar Rav Yehuda Shalaf Dutz. Yehuda says you pull it out and you stick it in. I don't know what the explanation for that is, but what does Rav Yehuda want you to do? Shalaf Dutz 25. Unidentified detergent. Oh, he's just saying what the name of the detergent is. Salt what? Okay.
And this is still all in order to remove stains, to see if what's left is blood.
Right. To see if what was originally is blood. And to purify it before it goes to the mikveh. Ashley. Oh, Benny's not on the sound. Ashleg is, we said, is Patash. Amar Shmuel. Shmuel says, Shaltino l'nechusa yama. I asked the sea travelers, Va'amro Ashalga Shmei. They said that its name is Ashalga. Umishtakach, and it's found Beni Nikfi Marganisa, in the holes of a pearl. Umafgile Baramtza de Parsla, and it's removed with a skewer of iron.
Another plant. Another plant.
Price on it.
$95. It's very expensive.
So this is interesting because this ashlag, we said is potash. They called it pearl ash. And it's according to this Gemara, they got it out of the pearls. So they would open the pearls, it was in there. But it was called pearl ash because it was white. It was like a white powder. If they put it in the mikveh, and then they did taris, so we said that it was going to be considered like ink. It's going to be tar. Tanarabanan, it was taught in a Bais Hevrel of Shiva Samanim. If they put over it the 7 agents for Le'avar, and it doesn't get removed. So fine, but then they used soap. For Avar, and it got removed. Tares of Timeus. The taras are Timeus. In other words, what was used for it before is Tameh. The problem is, Sofain Savanami Maver. 1 second, if you use soap, that will take away, even if it's ink. You have no proof what it is. Once you're using soap, you're going to remove everything. So Ella, Heber, of Shisha Saman of Layavar. You missed one. You only used 6 agents. And then you used soap. Heber of Tzafa in Layavar. But if you and then you used soap on it, so then tares of tmes and the tares are going to be tummy. Why? Because misafik, we don't know exactly. You missed one detail here, and now we're not able to clarify. We're not able to verify if it's what it really was. We're going to clarify it with soap. Because could be if you used the 7th one, you would have gotten rid of it, and then it would have been, or maybe not. But that would have verified for us what it really was.
So they all affected the stains equally?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It could be that
combination
that it doesn't work till the last one. It could be that it gets worse before it gets better. It could be, I don't know. But at the end, it's got to get it out.
Something say to her, so it's funny out there.
What was that? That sounded good.
So
She was on running your 7 neighbor. The Chas V'Shalom doesn't work. You said it's fine. You don't want it.
So, but the tzafan removes everything. Okay. Tanya Idach. There's another brisa. Hebrel of Shiva Samanim. If you put over the seven agents for Le'avar and it doesn't get removed, listen to this. Shanan. What happens if you do it again? It didn't get removed the first time. You're washing. You're doing this process a second time. Va'avar, and then it gets removed the second time. So tares of taharis. It's tahar. The reason being is because if it takes 2 times to get it out, then it's not blood. Blood should have come out on the first time, in the first cycle. Amar Rab Zeira. Rab Zeira says, Lo shanu, this was only taught, Ella, Lo shanu Ella. This was only taught, the Mishnah uses Bamed Bar Mamurim, the Gemara uses Lo shanu Ella. This was only taught that Hatahare Shinasu Ben Tachpusas Rishayna Lishniya. What's going to be pure is in between the first washing and the second washing. Because after the first washing, it's clear that it's not blood. But after the second washing, then tares of tmeis, then it becomes tamei. Second, how does it become tamei? If it wasn't blood, how did it become blood? We'll see. It says sharei hikbid alav va'avar, because you were makbid on it. The fact that you washed it again, that means you didn't want it there. That makes it considered like blood, and now it gets removed. The fact that it gets removed tells us that it's blood. So the question that you have is the question of the Gemara as well. What are we talking about over here? If he's makbid, if he doesn't want it there and he puts it through a cycle again, so that turns it into blood, what does it have to do with him? Is it blood or not? It doesn't have to do with what he wants. Amalei says yes, it is dependent on what he wants. If he considers it blood, then it's going to be considered blood. The Tanya was taught in a brisa. Rabbi says, Dama Nidda, Vadai. if it's definitely dam nida, maver love zayin samanim, you put on it the 7 cleansing agents, umevatlai, and then you nullify it, and that's going to be good. Avamaya dam nidahu, if it's still there, and you know it was dam, and it's still there, but if you mevatel it, you don't want it there. You don't consider it like a stain anymore. Alma bekvedetalia milsa. You see that it's all up to him. If he says, "Look, I don't mind. It's got dimmer, and that's good enough. I don't need its clothing to be perfectly clean."
The Bais
So
is talking about what?
dam nida, that you put on it all the agents.
But for Tum Tyra
Yeah.
or for
For tum and tana. So hachanami bekvedetalia milsa. So it's up to him. If once you put on once you put through the cycle once, so it becomes tar. So you use taras. But then if you put it through the cycle again, that means you want it to get rid of it more. So then that means that you're considering it blood. Why do you put it through again? So now it's becoming tummy. We're going to go through the next Amud of Gemara is going to discuss tumah that's absorbed. Like for example, here the nida, the blood of the nida that's absorbed in the cloth, is it really considered tamei while it's absorbed? Just the fact that you can remove it when you get it out, is that really considered tamei, or do we say that it's absorbed? It's called tumah balua. It's absorbed inside and it doesn't give off any tumah. It goes like this. Non-hasam. We'll start over there.
I thought that bird that you swallowed would become tummy as it was being malua.
Yeah.
So you can't
Basically,
become malua.
Yeah, so if you swallow that bird makes you tummy while you're swallowing it, that kosher bird, livela seiftar. But if you do have some sort of tumah that's absorbed inside of something, not swallowing, but if it's absorbed inside of something, then it doesn't give off tumah. It needs to be exposed. So
this seems to be saying that once something has tumah in it, even if it sits around long enough that it's no longer in the getter, or say blood, the tumah is still there.
Right.
Is that what it's saying?
The tumah would be, you put it in the mikveh, and that would be pure. However, if you still consider it blood, then that's mikveh is not going to help, because it's up to the over here we're saying it's up to the person to decide if he wants to get rid of it or not. If he still wants to get rid of it, then it's still considered blood.
So it's not an objective standard.
Right.
Yeah, it's the one.
Right.
Rolling the base. Rolling the base.
Okay, so it goes like this. Tanan Hasam, we'll start in the Mishnah. There's a Mishnah in Kalim. It says Charasin. Charasin are earthenware pots. Over here it would be a chamber pot. Shenashtamish bem zav. It was used by a zav, which means shabolo mashkim. It absorbed the liquids, the fluids of the zav. V'naflu laviratana. Now this chamber pot ends up inside an oven. V'husakatana, and they lit the oven. So this sounds like a scientific experiment that you don't want to do in your house. Do it in the lab. So they lit the oven. So now what got absorbed inside the chamber pot is now going to become evaporated. It's going to go into the air. It's going to leave. So that's the way they make the earthenware. They put it in an oven, in a kiln, and so it's going to be like remade. So hataner tamei. The oven is tamei. Shasayf mashkalatzis, because the fluids that were tamei from the zav that are absorbed in this earthenware pot are going to go into the air, and it's going to make it tamei. Amar Reish Lakish. Going to have over here machlekes Reish Lakish and Rabbi. Reish Lakish says leishanu ala mashkin kalim. Ava mashkin chamurim tamei afkish leihusa kataner. Reish Lakish says here we're dealing here not with the real fluids of a zav. The real fluids of a zav would be his urine or his spit. However, what are we dealing with here is the other fluids of a zav that are not really tummy. For example, his tears or his blood, or maybe urine of someone that was tummy mace, or someone urine from someone that was tummy sheretz. Those are all rabbinic sort of tumas. Those are not the original deraisa tumas that are real tummy. So Rish Lakish is saying, why do I need to evaporate this to create a tumah? That's only because it's only rabbinic tumah. But if it would be that those biblical tumas, those very serious tumas, the mayanas of Zav, then once you put it into the oven, even without lighting the oven's already tummy. Yes, but it's absorbed into the pot. How does it make the oven tummy when it's not in the airspace of the oven? It's in the airspace of the pot. It's in the pot. It's absorbed inside. It's tumah balua. Slakish holds that anything that's going to come out with any sort of medium, you'll be able to get it out. That's considered like it came out. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Echad mashkin kalin, v'echad mashkin chamurin." Doesn't matter either one, whether it's the serious or the lenient sort of fluids. And husa katana, only if you light the oven. In Eily, but if you don't light the oven, then it's not going to give off tumah, because he holds that it's tumah balua. It's absorbed tumah and it won't make the oven tummy unless you extract it through heating the oven. Rabbi Yochanan has a question. He asks to Rish Lakish, it's below. Let's say they put it in the mikvah, vasal gabav tarais, and they did they came in contact with pure produce. They ever love zayin samanim, and then afterwards they put on it the 7 agents, cleansing agents, and it doesn't go away. So hariza tzeva. You have to translate this. We consider it like tzeva. We consider it like ink. Not that it really is, but we consider it like ink. Why? Because it didn't come off. The tarais of tahirish, and all the tarais that he did were tar. Vein tzarach la'atpal, and you don't have to put it again in the mikvah. Now we have a problem here, because it's not really tzeva. Could be that it's the blood. Now the fact is that it was absorbed inside the cloth. The problem is that according to Rish Lakish, absorbed in a cloth is not considered absorbed. It's considered that it's on the outside. That's why Rish Lakish said that this chamber pot in the oven, it's considered like it's outside the pot. It's not absorbed in it. So why are the tares? Why are they tahar? They should be tamar. Amalei, Rish Lakish responds, Hanach l'ksam derabanan. You can't ask me a question from stains. Stains is all rabbinic law. You have to be lenient about that. I'm talking about the biblical laws. Over there, it's anything that's absorbed is considered outside, not inside. But Tani Reb Chia, 1 second. But Reb Chia taught in a Braisa, Dama Nidda Daf, Ma'aver Alav Zayin Samanim Mevatla. We had the Braisa on the top. Reb Chia was the one that edited the Braisas. He says that you put over it 7 agents, even if it's Dam Nidda. And then you nullify it. What's the question over here? Over here also we say that it's tar, even though if I would use soap, I could get it out. I could get more out than the 7 agents themselves. So the remainder is all the residue that's still there could still come out even more. So why is Rish Lakish saying that it's tar? It shouldn't be tar, it should be tameh, because I can get more out through soap, an 8th agent. Amalei, so Rish Lakish responds, Rebbe Leishana, Reb Chia Minayin Le.
Corrupted file.
This was not in the Mishnah. If Rebbe didn't say it, so how does Reb Chia know it? It must be that this is this Bais is corrupted Bais, and that's the they say corrupted Bais.
Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
Just to read when the kids play with the computer. So you go to the computer, what did they do? It says, are you sure you want to delete system folder number or something like that? Okay.
Is that the tradition? All these guys say that Rabbi Shia and Rabbi Ushia present, they're all, or
Yeah, you have to get rid of
Rabbi
it.
Akiva?
It has to be from Rabbi. The
mean
way
from
over here
Rabbi.
it's saying from Rabbi.
That wasn't such a good question.
Well, it's a bit of an issue. because what are the Baises doing for us? What are the Baises doing? How can you ask? How can you ask? How can you ask? Look, if it's not in the Mishnah, so the Bais is corrupted. I mean, what are all the Baises for? If there's no Mishnah, if it's not in the Mishnah, that's what I use the Bais for. To tell me other details that aren't in the Mishnah. The problem is over here. I think the reason why we can say this, Rabbi Laishana Rapi Minayin, is because the Mishnah was talking. The Mishnah was clear that it's referring to a kesem. Rapi is adding in that it's referring to Dam Nidda. That's a big finish. That's so much more that it's almost like contradictory. So that's why we're able to say that. That must be the shot of it. I don't know if you have a note from the yard sale. Let's see. 26. Ah, Taisus. Yeah, Taisus question.
This is for everyone. Have any questions?
Right. Let's see.
That's one way to solve
Here.
tomorrow's problems. Correct. That's what this is saying. This is what
Wow. Almost one of the Bais of Rashi and Rabbi actually alluded to in the Mishnah. Has to be alluded to in the Mishnah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. Esri Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan has a question back to Reish Lakish. The second one. Revius dam shenivla b'bayis. A certain measurement of blood of a corpse would make a house tame oil. It's a revius, 3 ounces or something. That it gets absorbed in the house is tame. But amrila, in there, some say abayis tar, that the house is tar. Now, when we say the house, we're referring to all the vessels that are in the house. Gemara explains, it depends. The vessels that were there when the blood entered the house, so those vessels are tamei. The vessels that are there that came into the house after the blood got absorbed, those vessels are going to be tar. So we have those 2 statements. The house is tamei, the house is tar, depends on when. When the blood came in, the house is tamei. Everything that's there at that, if you take a snapshot, everything that's there is tamei. After it gets absorbed, anything that enters afterwards is going to be tar. We see that absorbed is not going to give off tumah. Nivla b'ksus, if it got absorbed in a cloth, if you can wash it and take out a revius dam, then it's tamei. Bimlav, but if you can't, then it's tahira, then it's going to be pure. Now, that means that if you can use an agent to take blood out, like for example soap, it's not going to be considered that it's removed. It's going to be considered that it's absorbed. So, why the Rabbi Yochanan is asking Reish Lakish, you hold that something that's absorbed is considered like it's extracted. Here we see that something that's absorbed that could be removed through agents is not considered extracted. It's considered tumah balua, which doesn't give off a tumah. Rav Kana says mikuli revius shanukan. Here we're learning the leniencies of the revius, which is shani dam tvusa de rabbanan. Dam tvusa is the blood that comes out while a person is dying, and it's a mixture of the blood when he's alive and the blood when he's after he died. So therefore, over here we're going to be lenient. This type of blood is not going to give off that tumah. Okay, similar to the answer that we gave before. You can ask the question on a kesem because the kesem is a derabanan. Here also dam tvusa has these leniencies. Esri Reish Lakish le Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish now asks back to Rabbi Yochanan. Kol habalua she'en yachalatzis tar. Anything that's absorbed that can't come out is considered tar. But if you could get it out, even though you didn't take it out, then it's going to be tamei. Tamei, v'afagav d'lei nafik, even though you didn't extract it. Reish Lakish is right. absorbed is going to give off tuma, even though it's absorbed. Rav Papa says kol heicha de'en yachalatzis. Depends. If it can't come out, v'lei hikbid alav, and you don't even want to take it out, so divrei kol tar, that's for sure tar. That's the stains that we were talking about. But you already put everything on it, and you're mavatlite. You say, okay, it's good as is. That's going to be tar. Yachalatzis, if you could get it out, the hikbid alav, and you want to get it out, divrei kol tamei, then everyone would say it's tamei. That would go back to our statement of Reb Zera on Amud Aleph, that he said that if you wash it again and it comes out, then it becomes tamei, because you showed that you wanted to get rid of it, and it could come out through the second cycle. So keep ligi. When is the machlekes? It's able to get out, but you don't care to get it out. Marsavar, this one holds, which is Reish Lakish, given the achalatzis apagav b'leikbid. Since you can get it out, even though you don't care to get it out, it's still considered extracted. Marsavar, Rabbi Yochanan holds, apagav yachalatzis, even though you can get it out, and hikbid in, if you want to get it out, then yes, that's going to give off tumah. Back to Reb Zera. They lie, but if you don't care for it to get it out, then it's not going to give off tumah. Let's leave it over here. Right?
After the scene, when is the
Really?
It's early, but I'm allowed to.
What is the last day? Is it on the scene day?
No. We're going to finish Nidda Bezras Hashem on Shabbos next week. Have a good day.